the cast is, do you guys feel any sort of pressure that you're representing one of the first authentic Latino families on network television?
It's a great question.
Well, I don't feel pressure. I feel it's an honor to represent this Latino family, because this is specific to Cristela, her story, her voice, her life, and we get to tell it. And I don't think we should have to represent every Latino. Like I said earlier, there's so many of us from different, there's the American Latino, which is what we are, and then we come in all races and ethnicities and different countries of origin and different generations, and that would be too difficult to carry. So we just need more shows. That's what we need.
We just wanted to do it right. That's another thing. Like, there have been, in the past, you can always tell when someone's trying. And I mean by trying is like, you feel like they're trying to get a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. And when you feel that, the audience feels it.
And the TV series have failed too.
Yeah, because the audience feels betrayed. Right. Like, I like Die Hard because it's a good movie. I don't watch Die Hard because there's a mariachi in the movie. It's just a good movie, So it's like, if it's good, it's good, So for us, it was really just more, it's always about being honest.
Piggyback.
I feel really honored to play her mother, and some of the moments I draw on my own mom. She was a great deal like Natalia, maybe a little more modern, because she didn't have the tremendous hardship that your mom grew up with, but her spirit is very much the same. So I draw on my mom when I'm wondering how to really play something. I channel my mom, and she's a great deal like Natalia.
Carlos, did you guys have some sort of chemistry read with Maria to see what was the casting process like?
Brutal.
How did they end up both of you together?
It was brutal. You know what? I was very, very impressed, and I think I was talking to Maria about this. Usually, I read something that I love, and because there is a certain stereotype of what we should look like, and perhaps is not, we're not as open-minded of the real colors that we are.
So many.
I didn't think I had a chance for the show at all, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I'm going to go read for it, but usually when they send me for Paco or Pancho, they're not looking for me, but I'm going to go and give it my best. And I came once, and I came twice, and I came 3 times. Okay, I'm doing something right. What is it that I am not nailing? It was nerve-wracking, as is, every process of audition or every pilot season. But I was very, very excited when I heard that it was going to happen for me, because this is a fantastic script. By the way, extremely smart. It was very well written.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a true story. So I got cast on Sons of Anarchy. I was Latino woman #1, and I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. I get shot in the head. I die. So I was like, that's a goal in my life. I wanted to die or be the dead jogger in Law and Order. That's my goal, right? So I get cast, and I tell my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, hey, Latina woman #1, and the character is described as like this, like she's kind of like poor and no hair, just kind of like poor looking, a little dirty, whatever. So I told my boyfriend the day of the shoot, I'm like, I'm not gonna get my hair or makeup done. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna see what they do to make me look like this dirty, poor Mexican woman, right? So I go into hair and makeup, and they're like, you are perfect. You are. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. And Harry's like, no, come here. Gets a bobby pin and just puts my bags, and she's like, now you're ready. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And it's so funny, because, again, like, when we were getting ready to shoot, and this is an interesting story. There was Latina woman #1 and Latina woman #2. Latina woman #2 was a very pretty, thin Latina. She was very pretty. She's a sweet girl, and they mic'd her up, and they did everything because they immediately assumed that she was my role. And when they mic'd her up and they were getting ready to go, they realized that they had mic'd the wrong person, because they didn't think that I had that role. And that said a lot. And it was just like, oh, that's interesting. But it was like, so it was kind of weird how that happened, but I understood why it happened, and and also like that episode was amazing, and I think that Sons of Anarchy has done such a great job of telling this really cool, real story that features Latino actors. I mean, the characters are complex. You're not just going in, you know, they have a backstory. And that's what a lot of times, a lot of characters that are Latino lack, a backstory or a real purpose to why they're there.
Okay.
You know what, can I just say one thing? And this is the final thing, because I didn't get to answer.
Go ahead.
Like, why should people watch the show on October
It's your
10th?
show. Believe.
You know, I'll say this about it. I've spent years on the road doing colleges in the middle of nowhere. And I always tell people, I used to play these tiny towns that had no Latinos in there at all. You know, so I'd perform these shows where the families that would come and see the shows got the jokes. And it wasn't because they were Latino or anything. They got it because they were relatable jokes to them. Like, everybody, when I did jokes about my mom, would come up to me after the show and say, that's just like my mom, or that's just like my aunt, that's just like my grandmother. And that to me showed that whatever was funny and relatable, that's what was important. It was never about catering to a certain group. And that's what I want with this show. People are so quick to think that oh, they're brown, it's a Latino show, only Latinos will get it. That's not true. You know, and I just want the opportunity, I want the chance, so that people can see our show and see that we're not a Latino family. We're this blue-collar American family that a lot of people can relate to. And once you put a face to the family, I think they'll really enjoy the story we're telling.